All right, I want to move on to another issue because last night we talked about Nundle, this beautiful town in the New England region. A group of locals, you heard from one of them last night, they want to fight this wind farm, $600 million wind farm headed their way. It'll span 20 kilometres and the locals say it'll ruin views of the beautiful Nundle Hills. They say their concerns are largely being ignored by government.
All our concerns seem to fall on deaf ears, and we keep bringing up the concern of this place is a magnificent range, and it's the start of the Peel River. It's the water supply for all of Tamworth. But they seem to just say, we'll wait and see that there's a process. But we can see beyond that it's already destroying the community spirit that we have here in Nundle. The developers have this divide and conquer mentality, and they've employed that on us, the residents here, and we have an award-winning community here that is just getting annihilated.
I said largely ignored by government, that's how they feel, but perhaps not all levels of government here. Barnaby Joyce is the federal member for New England, and lovely little Nundle is in his electorate. Barnaby joins me now from Danglemar in northern New South Wales. I'll warn my viewers from the start, you mightn't have a great internet connection, but I'll certainly hear you, Barnaby. Let's start with this issue. You know Nundle, you know the sort of town Nundle is. What's this impact of a wind farm going to have on local community?
And we've got to understand exactly what wind farms are about. Wind farms are subsidised by you. You pay for the wind farms, $660,000 per year per tower. And it reminds me of when Professor Clement Lindley Ragg went out to Charleville and sold everybody the Steiger vortex gun to make it rain. You know, these things are going to change the climate. You're just being taken for a ride. You know, if you're a fool in their money, you're soon parted friends. And so it was Clement Lindley Ragg with the Steiger vortex gun. Now it's wind towers that are going to change the temperature of the globe. Someone's got to pay for it. That's you. So my issue is not so much with the Nundle wind farm. I've got a problem with that in the fact that the community, I'd have to say on the balance, don't want it. The people who are going to make money out of it want it. But when you think about it logically, we're talking about all the product for a wind farm is imported, right? It comes in from overseas. Even the clinker for the cement all comes in from overseas, right? And then it comes in from countries such as China, which are building coal-fired power stations to make the power for their people cheaper. So who's the fool in all this? I mean, who's the fool? You know, we're the fool.
Yeah, well let me just underscore that point. Let me just underscore that point you're making. So the turbines are made overseas, so the jobs are in China. At the same time, to build the turbines, they need steel, they need the coal-fired power stations to fire those furnaces to make the steel. All of that's in China. They get all the benefits of that. They ship the turbines to Australia. There's a certain amount of jobs, absolutely, in putting them in the ground. But when they walk away, other than pay off, which is hush money really, to farmers where the wind turbines are sitting on their land, the rest of the community doesn't get anything. Those jobs are not long-term. There's certainly for all the people that had their view ruined, where the turbines aren't on their land, they're not likely to get payment.
That's correct.
How is this a win for a small community, Barnaby?
Well, it's not. And you take a city like Tamworth. Tamworth is a city and the city's growing. It's got about 67,000 people and it's, blowing itself out of the swag. So ultimately what Nundle's like is like the Bowral or the Mittagong to Sydney. It's a sort of a unique community and makes a lot of money out of tourism. And look, I understand, and I'm mates with the people who might make a buck out of this, but you've got to fall on one side or the other of the fence. And look, it's false economies. Our biggest contribution to these wind turbines is the coal we sent to China to create the energy to build them and send them back to us. That's how it works.
And what happens after 20 years?
And that's perverse.
We know these things only last turbines for about 20 years. What happens after 20 years? You put more up or you leave these ones rusting out there on the hilltop? What happens?
No, it's already happening at Ravenswood up in North Queensland. Some of them catch on fire, big plumes of black smoke going across the landscape. Ultimately, we see it in Germany. I've been talking to some of my friends here tonight. Once they run out, they just leave them in the paddock. No one's got any intention of taking the concrete out of the ground. They've got brake pads which have to be replaced. They've got gears in the back of them that have to be replaced. Look, and anything with a false economy. Think of the Steiger vortex guns at Charleville. You know what? He was Professor Clement Lindley Ragg from the Bureau of Meteorology, telling us all about the climate. He was going to fix the 1901 drought. He was going to fire these things up into the air and the rain was going to come down. Well, you can go to Charleville and have a look, and they're still there. You know who paid for those guns? Barney, the locals.
My concern with all of this is the people in the cities vote this way and the people in the country and the regional towns bear the costs. This is not in the electorates that vote for renewable energy en masse.
You take it with this. If it's such a good idea, if it's a moral good, if it works, then the best place to put it is near the sea, because during the day, as the land heats up, the air goes in, wind towers could turn, and at night, when the land's colder than the sea, the air goes out, wind towers could turn. I tell you the place to put them: Manly Beach, right. And Palm Beach, North Kirkle, and Narrabeen. Narrabeen, out at sea, just beyond where you get the breakers are.
You're just stirring up them now, Barnaby Joyce. Just before we go, Eden Monaro tomorrow.
Yes, I
Who's going to win? Just who do you think's going to win? Don't give me the spin. Who's going to win?
The Libs and just, and it's right. And on the back of a Chinese spy basically being alleged to be in the New South Wales Parliament. There you go.
All right, got to leave it there. Thank you very much, Barnaby Joyce.